We've got an interesting chat for you right now as we reconnect with Ballarat fantasy author, a man who'll be at Clunes Booktown this weekend. Good to welcome back to the mic, Anthony Kearle. Anthony, great to see you, mate.
And you again, Brett. Thank you so much for having me.
Welcome back. When did you and I last speak about your very first book?
Would have been late 2022, I reckon. So a couple of years ago.
And you're just about to launch book number 4.
Book number 4 coming about July, yeah.
You're a prolific writer, mate. You must absolutely love it.
It just kind of happens, you know. What can I say?
Have you got a day job that gets in the way?
Unfortunately.
What is the next step for someone like you, an author with now 4 books under your belt, to actually do it for a living?
Just keep plugging away, I suppose.
Plugging away. Sell as many as you can.
Sell as many as we can and go from there.
Now, the first book you and I spoke about was The Blood of the Eagle. As I say, book number 4 is just about due. Is there a certain thread that follows through them all?
Yeah, exactly. So the 4th book coming out is actually a prequel set before the first 3.
Okay.
It sort of sets up a lot of the events that are to come in the following 3 that I'm starting on now. So in the end of the day, it's a series of 7.
Series of 7, okay.
Yep.
How are they selling?
Really well. So the Song of the Raven, the 3rd book, came out last November for Springfest. That was when I launched it. And I've happily and luckily sold out 2.5 times since. So
if you really
can't go wrong with that, I would say. But
so you haven't got boxes clogging up your garage. These things are on people's bookshelves all around Australia.
Look, there is some boxes, but we got Clunes obviously coming up and whatnot. So
yeah, you'll be getting rid of them. Great idea though, taking your book to the people, actually setting up a stall at Springfest.
Oh, it's important. I like to get around and talk to people. Like for me, the sales aren't that important. It's just doing what I enjoy doing, meeting fellow readers and writers and whatnot, and just enjoying the process.
Why fantasy? Why that genre for you?
It's always sort of stood out to me even from a young age. Remember getting read Harry Potter to me by my mum when I would have been 5, 6 probably, starting from there, and just progressed. Like the first books I ever read were Del Toro Quest, Rowan of Whitrin, Ranger's Apprentice, and then it just progressed Lord of the Rings, etc. And I don't know, it's always just felt more like escapism to me. I've always been more drawn to fiction, whether it was fantasy or historical fiction or even a little bit sci-fi in there too.
Yeah. And do you find yourself waking up at 3 in the morning, putting pen to paper with another crazy idea that's just floated through your mind?
Not so much 3 a.m., but I do have lots of notes on my phone from all hours of the day, let me tell you.
I bet you do. So you love fantasy. What are readers telling you about it, though? You mentioned Lord of the Rings, and we think of Game of Thrones, etc. Have those sort of TV shows and movies really got people interested in it?
Oh, I'd say it definitely started kicking off around when the movies and TV shows started really coming out. Made them more accessible, I would say. And it's really, really blown up the whole genre in the last 10 or so years. But I think because there's so many different subgenres within fantasy itself, like nothing is the same.
Yeah, okay.
And it's every author has their own sandbox to play with. And I think that makes it really attractive to the reader because you never know what you're going to be opening up and reading.
As an author, Anthony, I guess it's pretty personal. These are your words on paper that people are reading. Do they often provide feedback where you think, yeah, I could have handled that differently or taken that subplot somewhere else? I mean, are they that raw with their opinions?
Oh, look, I've had people upset that I've killed people off. Yeah, but that's probably the most upset I've had people with me.
Okay.
So I think I've been doing okay.
Yeah, you have been doing okay. Now, there's something in the water when it comes to fantasy authors in Ballarat and the region. In fact, there's a whole group of you heading to Clunes Booktown this weekend.
Yeah, so luckily enough, I've been good friends with one, Jade Andrews, for a number of years now. We used to work together briefly, which is how we met. And we've done multiple events together since, and I've been lucky enough to meet a few other local Ballarat fantasy authors. Well, not just fantasy, but all genres. But an idea started kicking off around last October that we might try and get a fantasy group together for Clunes and maybe other events from there. So I'll be heading to Clunes on this weekend with Jade Andrews, JC Rycroft, Max Victor, Elise Hay, and Jess McFarlane. So we all sort of do different subgenres of fantasy, and it's just an incredible group just to get together. Everyone so relaxed and chill and just happy to be there and enjoy the writing itself.
Do you ever talk about anything that's real?
Probably not.
That was an awkward silence. I think I knew that answer was coming. So there's no actual author talks from you guys this weekend, but you will be together in one tent, if you like, and happy to talk to your readers.
Yeah, exactly right. So we're just going to be there with all of our own books. We've got a few new releases from some of the authors coming out specifically for Clunes, which is really exciting to see. But we'll all be there with our books and just to talk to the people who come through the tent and if they want to take a book home, they can take a book home. So,
Okay. Hey, shameless plug time. Another one on the show this morning. Book number 4, not far away. That is due around July, I understand. Anthony, what can we expect? What's it called first up?
so it's called Keeper of the Flame. Mm-hmm. It's the prequel to the series that follows. It's a bit shorter than the rest, so a measly 99,000 words, and it's more on it's a tale of two sisters. It's a tale of two knights, and it's a tragedy at the end of the day.
You sent me a bit of a blurb on the book. I love these words. Treachery, magic, faith, love, honour. The Inquisition has begun. Sounds like you had a bit of fun when you wrote those lines.
A little bit, yeah, I will admit. So it sets up a massive historical event in the series. So when I first began, the whole series started with a massive love for world building in general. So it sets up an event which is an Inquisition, which led to a war 100 years before Blood of the Eagle. And this is the events leading into that.
Yeah, okay. What do your family and friends say about your writing style and your fascination with fantasy? They supportive?
They're very supportive, yeah. They sort of let me do my thing, and Mum proofreads everything before I even get it back, and then I do my own edit, which is really cool.
She doesn't do it with a red pen like my mum used to do, does she?
I am not.
That could be
Usually a blue pen.
A blue pen, okay. Yeah, red can be just that little bit scarring. And Anthony, you self-published, but how do we get your books?
So, due to the nature of me being, I'm globally published now, so you can access them. You can go to any bookshop and order it in, or you'd be able to get them from, for example, that little bookshop just on Doveston Street there, or also the Bridge Mall Collins.
Okay. And of course, we can see you and your fellow fantasy writers this weekend, Saturday and Sunday at Clunes Booktown.
That's the one.
And in fact, coming up next hour, we've got the program manager of Booktown, Angela Crocombe, going to join me on the show. So we'll have a chat about everything that is on, including our collection of local fantasy writers. Anthony Kearle, good luck with book number 4 as you work your way up to number 7. Thanks for your time on the show.
Thank you very much for having me.